So to have us prepared for Ratha-yatra tomorrow, I have made some selections which will put us in the proper mood. I'm also going to request in between my readings that Om Batuk Sharma will do one bhajan and Nijadam. This boy has beautiful voice, but he's very humble. So you're also going to sing. And Nimai Charan, I am appointing you Pujari. So you do the offering at 7:30. Okay? What's that? Put the plate right here in this corner. All right? And you will also do the arti. Okay? All right, so our first reading is from the Krishna book. The inhabitants of Vrindavan meet Krishna once again. Fold your hands and repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the scene, after Krishna left Vrindavan at the age of 11, went to Mathura, killed Kamsa, then he reunited with his original parents, Vasudeva and Devaki, and after that, Krishna married 16,108 wives and settled in Dwaraka on the west coast. So it has been many, many, many years since the residents of Vrindavan have seen Krishna. So this is the occasion. The inhabitants of Vrindavan were well-wishers and intimate friends of the Yadu dynasty. This meeting of the two parties after a long separation was a very touching incident. So there was a solar eclipse, and so it just happened the residents of Vrindavan and the residents of Dwaraka, they both went to Kurukshetra to observe the solar eclipse. So this is where they're meeting. All the Yadus and the residents of Vrindavan felt such great pleasure in meeting and talking together. It was a unique scene. Meeting after long separation, they were all jubilant. Their hearts throbbed, and their faces appeared like freshly bloomed lotus flowers. Drops of tears fell from their eyes. The hair on their bodies stood on end. And because of their extreme ecstasy, they were temporarily speechless. In other words, they dove into the ocean of happiness. While the men were meeting in that way, the women also met one another in the same manner. They embraced one another in great friendship, smiling very mildly and looking at one another with much affection. When they were embracing one another in their arms, the saffron and kumkum spread on their breast was exchanged from one person to another, and they all felt heavenly ecstasy. Due to such heart-to-heart embracing, torrents of tears glided down their cheeks. The juniors were offering obeisances to the elders. The elders were offering blessings to the juniors. Thus they welcomed one another and asked after one another's welfare. Ultimately, however, all their talk was only of Krishna. All the neighbors and relatives were connected with Krishna's pastimes in this world. And as such, Krishna was the center of all their activities. Whatever activities they performed, social, political, religious, conventional, were all transcendental. So now Prabhupada is going to take this scene and preach to us. So let's welcome Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. The real elevation of human life rests on knowledge and renunciation. Kamlesh, when he preaches this. Vairagya Vidya. Knowledge and renunciation. Knowledge with no renunciation is not knowledge. Knowledge has to include renunciation of material sense gratification. Then it's real knowledge. There are two sides of a coin. Knowledge, renunciation. Vairagya Vidya. As stated in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, please repeat. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayat Yashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayad Ahaitukam. Devotional service rendered to Krishna automatically produces perfect knowledge and renunciation. The family members of the Yadu dynasty and the cow herders of Vrindavan had their minds fixed on Krishna. That is the symptom of all knowledge. So, what is the symptom of knowledge? The mind is what? Fixed on Krishna. And because their minds were always engaged in Krishna, they were automatically freed from all material activities. This stage of life is called Yukta Vairagya. Can you say? As enunciated by Srila Rupa Goswami. Knowledge and renunciation, therefore, do not mean dry speculation and renunciation of activities. Rather, one must start speaking and acting only in relationship with Krishna. Now, when they had heard that Krishna would be present in Kurukshetra because of the solar eclipse, and that all the members of the Yadu dynasty would also be there, the residents of Vrindavan, headed by Maharaj Nanda, had immediately prepared to go there. King Nanda, accompanied by his cowherder men, loaded all their necessary paraphernalia on what? What would they load it on? Bullock carts. And all the Vrindavan residents came to Kurukshetra to see their two beloved sons. Who they come to see? Krishna and Balaram. When the cowherd men of Vrindavan arrived in Kurukshetra, all the members of the Yadu dynasty were most pleased. As soon as they saw the residents of Vrindavan, they stood up to welcome them and appeared to have regained their life. All the Yadus and Vrindavan residents had been very much eager to meet, and when they actually came forward and met, they embraced one another to their heart's satisfaction and remained in embrace for a considerable time. As soon as Vasudeva saw Nanda Maharaj, he jumped up and ran over to him, embracing him very affectionately. Vasudeva began to narrate his past history how he had been imprisoned by Kamsa, how his babies had been killed by, how immediately after Krishna's birth, Vasudeva did what? Took Krishna to Gokul, and what did he do? Exchanged the babies. How Krishna and Balaram had been raised by Nanda Maharaj and his queen. Who's his queen? Who's Nanda's queen? Yashoda. And raised Krishna and Balaram as their own children. Similarly, Balaram and Krishna also embraced King Nanda and Mother Yashoda, offering respect to their lotus feet. So this is a point. In Vedic culture, the children are to touch the parents' feet. That is a very important part. And see, Krishna and Balaram, they are married men at this stage. Krishna has grandchildren, and still he's touching the feet of Nanda and Yashoda. This is Vedic culture. Respect to the parents. Krishna and Balaram became choked up, and for a few seconds they could not speak. The most fortunate King Nanda and Mother Yashoda placed their sons on their laps and began to embrace them to their full satisfaction. Who would like to have Krishna on their lap? Yes. Yes. That day is coming if you stick with this Krishna. Because of separation from Krishna and Balaram, Nanda and Yashoda had been merged in great distress for a very long time. Now, after meeting them and embracing them, all their sufferings were mitigated. After this, Krishna's mother, Devaki, and Balaram's mother, Rohini, both embraced Mother Yashoda. They said, "Dear Queen Yashoda Devi, you and Nanda Maharaj have been great friends to us, and when we remember you, we are immediately overwhelmed by the thought of your friendly activities. We are so indebted to you that even if we were to return your benediction by giving you the opulence of the King of Heaven, it would not be enough to repay you for your friendly behavior. We shall never forget your kind behavior towards us." When Krishna and Balaram were born, before they even saw their real father and mother, they were entrusted to your care, and you raised them as your own children, fostering them just as birds take care of their offspring in the nest. You have nicely fed, nourished, and loved Krishna and Balaram, and have performed many auspicious religious ceremonies for their benefit. Actually, Krishna and Balaram are not our sons. They belong to you, Nanda and Yashoda. You are the real father and mother of Krishna and Balaram. As long as they were under your care, they had not even a pinch of difficulty. Under your protection, they were completely out of the way of all kinds of fear. This most affectionate care which you have taken for them is completely befitting your elevated position. The most noble personalities do not discriminate between their own sons and the sons of others. And there cannot be any personalities more noble than Nanda and Yashoda. Everybody chant the Maha Mantra.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So this first excerpt is giving us a glimpse into the high standard of culture in what is called Krishna culture. So in Krishna culture, great respect is given to parents. What to speak if those parents are devotees? Tonight, we are doing this program in memory of Jatin's mother and father. So, just as we have heard how nice Krishna and Balaram have reciprocated with their parents, Jatin, following in the footsteps of Krishna and Balaram, is doing this yearly program. Let us chant Hare Krishna.